From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, talking about pop culture, Star Wars, and life itself. I'm Ken Knapsack.
And I'm Jen Lando.
And we are here without Joseph Scrimshaw today, who is traveling back home. Well, his homeland. Home's here in LA, but he's traveling back to the Midwest to finish up some stuff as he continues to work on his film Dead Media. So follow him for his adventures out there. So Jennifer, we're going to do it. We're going to hold down the fort today.
We are holding down the fort. I'm realizing now I should have drank some more coffee, but we're going to do it.
We're going to
have a fun chat about Star Wars.
Yeah, and this is water. I'm not rubbing it in. I was like, I was rubbing it in your face. No, it's water. I've had no coffee today. Water in a mug. Yeah, water in a mug. It's a broadcast mug.
I like it. I like it. It is a broadcast mug. Yes.
Yes.
Totally talk show.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Fun.
We need a band leader now here of ForceCenter. Long big weekend. We're gonna get to all that. We also went live yesterday with Star Wars Questions, so we talked about some of the stuff there, but we might go in deeper to May the 4th and Tales of the Underworld. Not a review, but a little swing through it and all those things. And we got a one news story today, Jen. It is slow out there.
Yeah. This post-celebration hangover is just, I'm not surprised. We had so much coming out of Celebration, and just like with, Andor and then all these re-releases, it feels like Star Wars has been everywhere, except now the news, which is fine.
Except Star Wars is everywhere, except for on a news show about Star Wars news. But before we get to all that, we're going to remind you, as always, that today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a 30-day free trial and a free audio book. See, I switched around there at audibletrial.com/ForceCenter. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. We always like to recommend a book, an audiobook, and we are still recommending Reign of the Empire, The Mask of Fear by Alexander Freed. First part of a new trilogy of books set right after the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire. It's got Mon Mothma, Saw Gerrera, Bail Organa, and many others. So check it out. Download your free audiobook today by going to audibletrial.com/ForceCenter. Again, that's audibletrial.com/ForceCenter for your free audio book. We do have some asks and a big update, Jen, on the YouTube side.
That's right. So what should I do first? I'll do our next goal, which is 430 paid patrons. If we get to that, we will release a Star Wars ranked episode with visuals, moving pictures, kids. We'll add some, I don't know what I'll do, but I always have fun. I'm a visual learner, so I really appreciate, especially when we're throwing out these characters or vehicles or whatever it is, right? Alien species. It helps to see the pictures. So join us, and then you get access to our Discord, which is so much fun. Breaking news always happens there. It's a lively discussion, sometimes debate, but it's all a lot of love in that Star Wars Discord.
Yeah, it's all a lot of love. Yes, sometimes tensions spring up a little bit. There's a lot of people in there and different points of view, but we always find the right way to discuss it, and it's great there. Yes, lovely. Yeah, no, great call. I know some people in the comment section on YouTube on the Star Wars Ranked episodes, they want pictures and everything. When we can hire an editor, we'll do that. But for right now, it's me holding down the fort. But Jen, we're going to work on something special when we get to that 4:30. So
That's right. It's a lot of work, to be honest. But we'll do it. We'll do it at 430. Be sure to follow us on Blue Sky. We want to keep, it's hard with the X hanging over. There's a lot of people that, we have not transferred over to Blue Sky. We're trying to create a robust Star Wars community over there. So we are on Blue Sky. And the big news is, Ken, we crossed 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is a huge goal. I mean, how long have we been on YouTube?
I mean, we've been on it for a long time, but we weren't active until about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now. And even then, it's hard to get your footing. It ain't like the glory days where you could just easily grow on YouTube. And we've been around for 11 years, but we were audio first and audio only. So occasionally we toss some things up there. We try some things over on YouTube. But about 1.5 years ago, we committed to faces, camera, getting the video up. So it's been great, and a small number in the grand scheme of YouTube, but 10K for us has been a quiet goal, and we did it. Thank you all.
Confetti. If only we were on Instagram, the filter was
There you go. That did it.
Yeah.
That did it. Yeah, and it was fun because I was watching it count up, and then it went to 10K, and I took a little screenshot, posted in the Discord to thank everyone, and then by the time I posted it, it was down to like 998 again.
No.
Like, damn it! But we're back up. We're over. We're good. That happens.
Yay.
That happens. So again, thank you all to those who have made it possible. A lot of you are new, jumping maybe on because of the Andor reviews or stuff like that. We've been here for a bit, diving deep into all the wonderful things of Star Wars. And we're going to do that here on news today. We like to go beyond the headlines, discuss just what's there. But like I said, yesterday on the live show, we did address some of the stuff Jen and you and I did in terms of life adventures. We were at the same place, not at the same time on May the 4th, but we want to go a little deeper into our Star Wars days because we both went down to the Academy Museum. But you had a full day. You had a lot. You were up till 4 a.m. doing costumes.
I was. I didn't have a lot of time to work on the costumes prior. And as if you don't know, Queen Amidala, whether you're making it for an adult or a 5-year-old, is a very difficult headpiece to make. There's no easy way to do it. You could do it easy, but when the screen accuracy, you're a perfectionist like me, I couldn't help myself. But I did it. There were some issues. It's all right. And my daughter dressed up as Queen Amidala to go see The Phantom Menace. And she and my 9-year-old had never seen the film. And I got to say, I was nervous.
Okay.
I was nervous. My husband was a little like, are you sure you want it? I'm like, yes, there's the pod racing seat alone. That will be enjoyable for them. But do you know what? Yeah. I'll get to the Ahmed Best thing in a minute. But what was shocking to me is my husband and I both afterwards were like, that was really good. We don't remember. I mean, I've watched it since many times with you and Joseph, but I don't know what it was. I was like, this is fantastic. How could I have been? Granted, I was a teenager when it came out, so I had expectations, but it is so well done. My kids loved it. They loved Padme, Queen Amidala. They loved Jar Jar Binks, Anakin. Like, there's just the Tax Federation stuff. It's a huge part of the film, but it doesn't feel like it weighs it down, which is what I think I initially thought. So now it's one of my favorites. I don't know.
That's
what
great.
happened. Time.
Time. You've made time an ally of Jennifer Landa in Star Wars. That's amazing. You had your daughter had this wonderful Padme outfit. Again, you chose to go perhaps the most difficult of Padme dresses in the Phantom Menace, the light dress. So kudos to that. But then you had kind of a Jar Jar ensemble going, right? So you embraced it.
I did. I made a Jar Jar hat, and I really healed my wounds. I love Jar Jar, and hearing Ahmed Best speak was really cool. He's a great storyteller, and he was talking about, when he first got cast and at the table read, like he was not initially hired. I'm sure a lot of you all know this, not initially hired to do the voice. And so it was at the table read where he's like, oh my gosh, I got to do something. What am I going to do? And he just threw out this voice, which he knew he had done with, kids, family members. He had kind of workshopped it with his family over the years of doing silly voices, and it stuck. And he's like, George is not one to like, you can't really read into him a lot with his reactions. And he was like, that's good. Keep doing that. That was it. George's voice was born. But you need the moments of Jar Jar in the film. You really do. Because I forgot that at the end, Qui-Gon Jinn, spoiler alert, dies. Darth Maul.
You forgot at the end? Okay. Yeah.
I forgot until I was like, oh shoot, I did not prep my kids on this.
Yeah.
My 5-year-old could care less. My 9-year-old she like literally gasped and went, oh, right? Like we forget that people don't know this common knowledge. She was really upset, and I was like, I'm like, oh, is she gonna cry? Is this okay? It's okay. She was fine. She wasn't gonna cry. But she just was horrified that he actually was dead. Like there's no coming back.
No Force ghosted yet.
Yeah. And
you didn't turn to her and go, don't worry, he discovers the path to the cosmic force, and he's the reason we have Force ghosts. It's okay. It's cool. It's cool.
Oh my gosh. She was like, Mom, you didn't tell me a guy gets chopped in half.
I'm
sorry. I forgot. Minor details. Star Wars. People lose hands. Get cut in half.
Yeah, you just put on some spider legs. You're good. It's all
You're
good.
good.
Well, that's an
Yeah.
amazing. That's an amazing tale. And yeah, we don't need to. We can go super deep into it as you want, but like, yeah, knowing your journey with the Phantom Menace, the character of Jar Jar, and just sitting with Joseph and I all these years talking about this stuff. This is fantastic to hear that it is just it. I say this a lot, like. It is of 1 through 9, but also 1 through 3. It's my favorite to sit down and watch now, just in terms of a fun Star Wars movie to crawl into. Which is, yeah, it's something weird to say with taxations and the trade blocks and all those things that became such a pop culture water cooler. Oh, can you believe they did that? I always mention the Simpsons episode, which was kind of funny because it's the Simpsons, but they did a parody of a space movie, getting all political and how boring it was, and it's really. It's a big part, but it moves. That movie zips and goes.
It does. It really does. I was really surprised. There's something always happening. It's great to watch it with Star Wars fans because people are
Mm,
cheering, when every character comes on screen. People were laughing at Palpatine's lines, watch your career with great interest, all those things.
mm,
It's just good
mm.
because he's just chewing up the scenery, even as senator, and you just know where this is headed. It was really
Yeah,
fun. Very fun.
that's great. And so the girls loved it. The girls are in. They're Phantom
They
Menace fans.
loved it, and you all, I've Star Wars has been a part of their life for so long, but it did, for
Mm.
whatever reason, this movie really seeped in. And afterwards, we went and had lunch, and they're talking about, that's not the Jedi way, and this, like, they've never talked like this before. We were
Oh,
trying to get
amazing.
our little buzzer to do it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to use the Force, and we were all taking turns. Who's going to use the Force? And it turns out my 9-year-old is the most powerful in the Force because she made the thing beep.
There you
Um,
go.
it's
Oh,
just that's
oh,
what Star Wars
Reiki
is
Master.
about, right? It's just
Yeah,
and there
that's
was a crowd
great.
of people for Empire that was coming after our
Mm,
screening. It was packed, packed
yeah.
with people. Now, for you, you saw Rise of Skywalker. What time was it at?
It was late. It was 7:30. So shout out to Nikki Kumar from your Imperial Senate podcast and Alden Diaz. Alden came out from Florida. They got me a ticket, and this was months in planning. And going. And so it was a good time. I needed to get out of the house. And 898 for M. Brady was there from our ForceCenter Discord. Eli from Star Wars: A Galaxy there as well, and others. So
Oh,
it was a ton of fun. But yeah, it was definitely less packed. That's obviously, without a doubt, as much as I love Rise of Skywalker, it's a little more maligned than the other two, which is weird to say with Phantom Menace being one of the films, right?
right.
But Phantom Menace packed, Ahmed there, what you're describing. Time has an interesting way of changing things, and already 6 years on, like there was the hardcore Rise of Skywalker fans, people dressed as Rey, people dressed as
Mm.
Poe with the outfit, like they were there. But it certainly wasn't sold out. It was also later, and the Academy technically closes at 6, so it was just a little more vibe
Oh,
you're there after hours, almost just hanging out because you're special, I guess. But a lot of fun, and muted applause. We try to force some applause. It's one of those, like, smaller crowd. Everyone feels a little more aware, self-aware, too self-aware to
mm,
react.
hmm.
Much like when comedy shows, if there's 4 people, no one wants to laugh. No one wants to be the person that embarrasses themselves by laughing. But we had a lot of fun, and it was just great to see it. And for me, same thing with that film, where I said, of 7, 8, and 9. Yeah, I think Last Jedi might be the best of the bunch. I really love Force Awakens, but Episode 9 is the one I like to just watch and put on, and it zips and moves, and it's fast paced and pulpy and all those things that we love it. And it's got its weird moments. It's got its things that every Star Wars movie has. But it was just fun to take it all in on perfect sound. I've never been to the Academy, the David Geffen theater there. That sound was rumbling in our seats. I can't imagine how good the pod race was.
Oh my husband and I had that conversation because I was
Yeah,
like, it felt like I was in, I was right there
yeah,
next to Sebulba. It was so loud and, like you said, rumbling of our seats. It was
yeah,
fantastic. I can't imagine what Joseph experienced when he went and saw, what was it? What did he go see? The Revenge of the Sith in
yeah.
4DX?
Oh yeah, he went to the 4DX. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was like
I thought of
that.
that. Yeah, I thought of that because, like, in Rise of Skywalker, there's a lot of big sound moments, but a lot of it was just like, even the stuff with, like, Palpatine sometimes is his voice with the lightning in the opening sequence. It was rumbling, and when the Star Destroyers are rising up off of Exegol, just your seats rumbling. And I made me think about the pod race. Empire's got those moments too, without a doubt. But I was like, God, the pod race must feel like 40X. I can't imagine. Yeah, you're right. 40X, 4XD, whatever it is. I can't imagine that experience. I might be sick to my stomach. Maybe I'm too old, but it was great. The sound was so great. It was a great experience. Great theater. A lot of fun.
Man, that's great. Would you say that you said they were all hardcore fans, mainly adults and older people?
Yeah, but that was Alden and I were talking before. It's like we were joking, like, hey, Phantom Menace has got Ahmed showing up. It's got the prequel generation strong. Obviously, Empire being the best of the best. You're going to have all your Empire fans there, and it was sold out for a long time before. But we kept joking, like, these are the real ones. The ones who show up late for episode 9. These are the real fans.
Yeah.
These are the ones here to. We don't care how Palpatine came back. We just know he's back. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that kind of vibe, and it was good. It was good. So it was a good ending to the Star Wars day. Which I always say, it's so funny. I don't think of May 4th as anything other than, for me, a Sunday, and I feel so bad because I go on social media and I almost get cynical, like, that person's never posted about Star Wars before. What are they doing? Like, what are they doing? So it was good to get out of the house and go celebrate Star Wars like the nerd that I am.
Yes, exactly. Being amongst our people, it's wonderful. It was fascinating too. Like, they asked who had seen the film, The Phantom Menace, before on screen, on the big screen. A lot of people were there, and they were probably in their 20s. They were huge fans, and this was the first time they were seeing it on the big screen, or like maybe they must have been teenagers. I don't know, but it was really interesting to see. Not as many families as Return of the Jedi, which I also saw at the Academy last year. There was a ton of families at Return of the Jedi. This time, it was more like younger people who grew up with the prequels, but maybe were too young to see it on the big screen. It was really cool. And they were all dressed up and so excited. And I was like, oh, this is so special.
It is. Well, it is special too. Just like the whole marketing campaign from behind the special editions of See It Again for the first time. And even then in 97, 20 years after, which seems like nothing now. I was telling you off air, I haven't been to LACMA in 20 years, and it's I live in the city that is it. It's weird. Time is a weird thing, but special editions already played upon that. An entire generation of fans has only seen Star Wars on TV, and we're kind of there. That's kind of the thing now too. Even though there's a lot more re-releases, but the Phantom Menace El Capitan I went to a while ago was so had that kind of vibe of a lot of people getting to see it the first time or experience it because maybe they're too young to know what they were even doing. So that's a great byproduct. And Rise doesn't have that yet. We're 6 years removed. That's a long time, but it's still fresh. So maybe in 20 years, the Rise of Skywalker screening will explode.
I think it will. Time heals old wounds, and I am now a prequelist, and I never would have thought I would have been saying that in 1999. I was,
yes,
I was too cool for school, I guess. Who knows?
Yes, indeed. Another thing we did, we're not going to do a full review. Joseph and I might dive in later too, and Jen as well if she wants. But part of Star Wars Day was the release of 6 new episodes of Tales of the Underworld. This was the 3 episodes of Asajj Ventress, her return. We got some answers. And also Cad Bane, which we learned is, a stage name. A stage name from him. So, Jen, did you get a chance to watch these things?
I did. I watched all 6. It's nice to see the run times as opposed to Andor, where I'm like, I got to watch 3 hours of Andor, which I love, by the way.
But this was like, yes.
Okay, I got this. It's 15 minutes. And I was really excited for the Asajj one. And I love that the character returned. I'm not so sure about the arc and the pairing with a young person. But I really did love the Cad Bane one. I thought that was really cool. Great story. An interesting kind of like a Law and Order type vibe going on. I don't know what it was.
and in
in
a
Western, right.
Like to the point of, I mean, this is a good way. Like we get it. Cad Bane's Lee Van Cleef. This is Western. That's Clint Eastwood. Okay, got it. It was the trains coming into town at high noon, like everything about it was fun. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of the Tales of series, and I can't wait for more next year. I hope it does continue. I did enjoy these ones a lot. On rewatch, I needed to kind of dive in a little bit, but I also got to be honest and say I was slightly. I hate the underwhelmed and meh and all these youthful words, Jen. I don't know. I didn't take them as much as the first batch. The Ahsoka and Dooku ones are my favorite. I love the Barasafi one is haunting and poetic. This one had it was a little bit because maybe the trope stuff being played with the Western stuff and the showdowns, or a former evil assassin trying to go good or whatever you want to say. I felt that was slightly predictable. And that's fine. I'm always saying, like, sometimes it's, even if you know the ending, it's sometimes good to, it's the journey there. That's more important. So there's some great stuff. If you're a Cad Bane fan, I'm sure you enjoyed this one. And I am, and I did. If you're a Saw's Ventress fan, you might enjoy it. But I did feel, I have to be honest, Jen, I felt the Ventress ones provided the answers. I love the beginning. But I was like, all right, I get it. Are we doing the Path show or not? Are we doing the Path show? Is this in Shadow Lord?
Yeah.
Because it just seems like and I hate we're just setting up, because that's not necessarily the case. But it felt a little incomplete to me.
I agree. I was like, okay, this is, there's people who have obviously read Dark Disciple. We're very excited to get some answers, although I know that some people were not happy with how the answers were answered. I liked it. It worked for me. And then I was hoping that we would get more about the Path, or we would see that tension with her and Quinlan Voss. I don't know. I was not expecting her to be paired up with this young kid. And it was cute, but that's not what I want for Asajj Ventress's journey. I don't want it to be cute. I want it to be right. I was like, oh, that's sweet. That's not what I want for the character. And it just felt like there was a little bit more depth with the Cad Bane one that I felt was kind of missing for me, or just maybe not the depth that I wanted from the Asajj.
Yeah. We always talk about, hey, what's the art given to you? Engage with the art presented to you and everything. I just so expectations are going to be high for Ventress, and again, once this, I'm glad the character is back. I can live with that. And I liked that it wasn't it wasn't a chase for Quinlan. That in fact it was actually a turn away from Quinlan Voss. That'll kind of keep any impact her death had on him in place for a bit. We'll see where that goes. But again, I think all these, I love the format. I really do. These bite-sized little tone poems of Star Wars that are made, based off, what the story goes, Dave, while flying from, down here, Burbank area to San Francisco, that half-hour flight would get a napkin and sketch out ideas for little story points and characters that were unanswered. So this always delivers on that. So without beating the point into the ground here, it was just, I felt okay. that was my reaction. Okay. Lessons to learn from them. All those things are there. The themes are strong, but want more. Maybe I just want more. Maybe that's it, Jen.
Maybe that's it. Right. It's also one of those things where it reminds me of like when Scrappy was introduced with Scooby-Doo. I kind of felt like this kid was Scrappy, where I'm like, I don't need Scrappy. I know that you want to entice younger viewers, but like I like the original gang. Like,
Yeah. That's fascinating. Anyways, so not to be have a negative down review. It was everything was good. I love the format. I want more of it. And again, a lot of people in our Discord enjoyed it, and all those things. And to learn that Cad Bane's name was what, Colby? Was that his name? Colby? There you go.
Yeah, it was Colby.
Colby and his son Isaac. We now know. So there you go.
I know. Yeah, that was good.
There you go. We got one news story today, Jed. One, count 'em, one, and it's a neat one. I want to say that it's it's like you said, Star Wars is just relaxing as a brand, following celebration straight into Star Wars Day. We have a new book, and it's going to go beyond the Rise of Skywalker. Kwame Mbali has written a YA novel set beyond the events of Episode 9, centered around Finn and Jannah. The story finds the two hunting down a First Order officer who's responsible for a mass kidnapping of children. Finn and Jannah will have to deal with their past as they prevent future problems for others there. So, in general, Jen, thoughts on the story, this book, these characters, and the format?
I saw the cover. I mean, it was last week, and I went, "Oh my gosh, this is wonderful that they're centering the story around these characters. It's wonderful." And yeah, I don't know if I'll read it, which is always a challenge for me because I want to read it because
Mm-hmm.
this could go very deep, dealing with these two characters and their past and their trauma. What is that like? It's a fascinating story, but the first order is kidnapping children. That's really
Mm-hmm.
gripping.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good to this story, and it will be interesting to see how it does. I feel like the YA novels do really well for Star Wars, and I'm
Yeah.
happy that it's with these characters because maybe that means more for these characters.
Yeah, no, more indeed. And yeah, getting more. This is a story that's kind of, to me, been years in the making because
Mm.
the First Order kidnapping kids and putting them into stormtrooper armor and their ranks and everything has been out there for a long time. And of course, was a part of the Rise of Skywalker story beats there. We got some. We were supposed to get a little bit more. That beat at the end with Lando and Jannah had a lot more to do with this. There was
Mm.
what we now know in canon is Lando's own daughter had been kidnapped, and there was, I'm not saying that Lando and Jannah were going to be related, but there was just some of that
Mm.
left on the table. So to dive in deep, I'm really excited about that. I've always been a fan of the YA novels. It's certainly a branding thing. I make jokes that I like smaller words, so it's easier for me to read, but still like a fancy one every now and then. So YA is great, but a lot of the quote YA novels, going back to Lost Stars, have always been some of the favorites in Star Wars. I'll leave it up to a smarter person to analyze why, but I'm excited. Number one, that these characters get to go on in this format, and like you said, maybe we'll talk about other formats that they might show up in. But that this is not shying away from something kind of pretty serious in a way inside the Star Wars story. That the First Order was just gobbling up kids. That's pretty dark stuff, and I like that this is going to be taking that head on. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is the kind of stuff when you're a young person and it's a fascinating story and it's kind of scary, but it's Star Wars, so it's going to be okay. And you have two heroes who are going to save the day, so it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
perfect.
Mm-hmm. It is kind of perfect. Yeah, and one of the things we are really now starting, Jen, to move past Episode 9 or the sequel trilogies, and for a while there was nothing. I think for a while it was like the Lego Holiday Special was the only content that moved past the Episode 9 end. But now, obviously, with movies announced in the future, it makes sense for going forward. But this was interesting to me, maybe because it's a book, it's a YA novel. It was the first time I was like, oh, okay, it's starting to dawn on me. We are entering post 9 territory in a major way in Star Wars. Do you have any fears, apprehensions, thoughts, and what it means to us as old fans and new?
I'm thinking of like strategy. I feel like the
Mm,
books are very strategic with what they release. The High
yeah.
Republic was a huge initiative. There was a
Mm,
lot of like Padme books. I feel maybe I'm just making
yeah.
this up. I don't know. It just felt
Yeah.
like that,
No.
or
Yeah.
you know. So I'm like, why? Why are they choosing to
Mm,
focus on these characters? Maybe this timeline. Does that mean we're going to be getting more? Like what? I don't know if there's been any discussion with that, or if there's like future releases that are slated?
mm.
I
In
can't
terms
think
of
of
books
any.
and everything, yeah, there
Yeah.
might be. I mean, but that's kind of maybe my point, or at least my thought is like I have been. I guess I've been slightly afraid to see what the future looks like in Star Wars. Like
Mm,
and meaning like it's just not that I wanted it to end at 9 and we don't go forward at all. I actually really, really want to go forward. I want the Ray movie. I'm looking forward to Starfighter. I was ready to follow them on even Rogue Squadron initially was pitched as beyond that. Um, I don't know. I'm feeling like trepidatious about what's coming. Are they gonna?
mm,
How are we gonna build this? And I want all these characters to move forward, but I want it to be new and fresh. And even this makes sense to me. We're dealing with remnants of the First Order, but I don't want to repeat that for too long, much like we had remnants of the Empire, to the point where sometimes this isn't a complaint, but sometimes I'll watch Mando or some of those things. I'm like, did the Empire go away? Did the Empire go at all? Because they're all right here. We're all here.
Right.
I thought they all went to the unknown regions, and there's one Star Destroyer out there. That's ever, and so I think some of that's coming up where I'm excited to go forward, and I don't want a plan in place, but I also don't want it to be scattershot, where we got this book, we got this story, we got this character. I'd love for them to be able to fill that in movies or TV shows and books and comics and games, but I just I don't want that, because I felt a little bit that was what we got with 2014, 2015 expanded canon in the books and comics and games, stuff that I love, stuff that I've written about and celebrated. But now we're seeing, oh, okay, now we're gonna go back and see how K2SO and Poe or Cassian really met. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
So I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that again. That might be.
That's a really, really good point. And because it's tricky, right? We want to be able to answer questions around these characters, build out their stories, but then there is the danger of, if you build out too much, it could be confining when storytellers want to go and tell their stories in live action. At least for me, or at least for people who really do cling to that canon, because it does kind of feel like you get invested with these stories, and then somebody else comes along and is like, actually, no, this is what people feel that happens, right? They feel like they're not dismissed, but this thing that they've invested in is no longer relevant, or is not as important as the thing on screen.
It does, and it's been, and sometimes I maybe preach on, hey, let it go, because I'm generally the hey, let it go, like Cobb Vanth shows up here, even Chuck Wendig was like, I'm honored, I'm not expecting them to take my beats down to the granular details, but so even in saying that, like I am not worried about, at the time you and I were recording this, we have not yet seen K2SO's return to Star Wars and Cassian's life. I imagine it has almost nothing to do with the Acker and Blacker comic that came out, and I'm good with that.
Right.
Number one, I didn't really love that issue, but yeah, there's I understand folks when they have a little bit of or this could. By the way, this is EU Legends fans when in 2012 and then 2014, April 2014, going, wait, so none of it means anything. And I am often at odds with EU fans, because I'm like, yeah, you should let it go, because most of it wasn't good. Like, I don't like it. But they loved it.
Right.
And so I do understand 10 years on, maybe to a point of even I have to apologize for things I said over the years, of even watching, it's not new, 6 years old, but even watching Rise of Skywalker, I laugh at a great moment that I loved, even though a lot of people thought it was fan service, but Maz giving Chewie Han's medal that had been in Leia's hand, but that was kind of presented as Chewie finally gets his medal. Well, 10 years ago in a comic, he got his medal, and it was part of a 4-issue, 5-issue Chewie comic run, which was okay. It was a little weird. He goes to a planet where everyone has fish bowls on their head. I don't know if I liked it, but I was laughing last night knowing that you and I were going to talk about this story and this kind of thing of going forward, where I'm like, but let's be less scattershot with it. Let's actually not have a plan, but I don't want to have to 10 years from now deal. Well, that's not how Finn got his hook arm. I know how Finn got his hook arm. It's in a book, I get it.
Really difficult, because people that are going to be reading the books are very dedicated, and I mean, it's just like with any property, Game of Thrones, or like there's this fantasy novel that I started reading that people are obsessed with. I can't even remember the name of it. Court of Fire and no, that's Game of Thrones, Fire and Ice. Court of Thorns, I think that's what it is. I don't even remember.
Okay.
There's this whole series.
Sounds
Let us know in the
dangerous.
comments. It's really cool. There was like fairies, it's fantasy, it's all sorts of interesting things. But anyways, if they were to adapt that into a movie or a TV series, I can see why people would be like, this is the text. This is what the way that this happened, right? So I totally get that feeling. And I do.
Yeah.
So it's a little complicated. But what? are they going to be creating totally new stories for the books just because they don't want to step on any toes or like potentially change some things? So all that to say, I think this will be a great story, and it'll be interesting to see, who picks it up and who discovers these characters. Maybe they're a younger person who's like, oh, what is this about?
Oh yeah,
maybe
I
that's
like that idea. And I definitely this is a book I probably will dive into because I really do love these characters and I do want to see them go forward in this way and analyzing that stuff there. So there you go. That's what we mean, but that's what this means to us there, and we're excited to see Finn and Jannah continue. Like I said, I know that the big cloud that hangs over. Well, cloud and suns. It could be happy. I don't want to be all dark and gloomy, but over the Rey movie is, will John Boyega even want to return to Star Wars? I think the character of Finn should absolutely return to Star Wars, and I think that there's a lot to do with the character. Same with Poe, but it's a question of will Oscar Isaac return? Will John Boyega return? I don't know that right now. So until we know that, getting a little bit more with these characters is a good thing.
Yeah. I was hopeful that we would get Finn again on screen. Based on the way that he's talked about his experiences and everything, I don't think that's going to be happening. Maybe it will. Maybe they'll surprise us. But I understand why he's frustrated with how things went down, and he's made a lot of good points. So it's complicated. But I would love to see Finn back on screen again. I'd love to see this story. I think that's why I'm conflicted. I want to see this story in a TV series. How cool would that be? Right?
Be good.
Yeah, it would be good.
Be good.
Not going to happen with the way that the state of the industry.
No. Especially if they're gonna, put tariffs on foreign movies. All right, no, discussion for another day. What a morning. Is there any other stories from this era? We got Finn and Jannah, but any other characters that you might want to not make it to TV movies, but might be open to like a book or a comic? Any other side things? A Poe Dameron comic run again post episode 9. There's any characters from the sequels that you're like, yeah, give them a 5-issue run.
The caretakers. That's a terrible answer. I love
it's a great answer.
They have a really rich culture. Which if you've read the visual guide, it really kind of dives into it. And when someone puts that much care into these creatures, aliens, I want to see that more. Give me an animated special on the caretakers, and maybe you have a human Star Wars character come in the mix somehow, or maybe we get more of Luke. I was going to try and tread new ground, but you know what I mean.
Look, give me a Tales of Octo Island. Give me that island all through the years, from Jedi, Prime Jedi all the way up to Luke and beyond. Who knows? I still think once a year I could see Rey makes a trip out there just to either chat with Luke or pay respects. I don't know. I'd be okay with that, but have it focused in on the caretakers. Have Lene, see all the generations of Jedi searching for this temple and what goes on. But if you do it in little choppy, bite-sized kind of little stories, you'll because I'm sure a lot of it's just them there alone, just quietly sweeping for no one. But very good. I think
you actually pitched a really good Tales of story. If they did Tales of and the different planets, so you have like Tatooine, the Tales of Tatooine, you have the Tales of Octo, you have the Tales of Naboo or whatever, and you could have all the things that have been happening or going on these planets. That's my pitch.
I think it's a good pitch. It's a good pitch. And there's a lot of wonderful little characters in the sequel trilogy that you could go back and explore. Big fan of Tali Lintra, so maybe her journey join the Resistance before her untimely death. There's ways to do that. You could do even more with Hux. I was watching Rise of Skywalker last night. I know Donald Gleason doesn't have a ton to do in the film, but give us a little bit of that time, that year between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, where he's conniving and scheming and everything's starting to go wrong. I don't know. Or, Joseph was talking about how in his heart he thinks Phasma survived. Let's have Phasma come back. Let's do some issues of that, or a second Delilah Dawson doing a second Phasma book on her return is something I'd follow easily.
Yeah, I guess that's another reason why I'm kind of surprised about this book, because I feel like they were kind of letting the this period of the sequel trilogy, just kind of not letting it go. But the fact that they didn't celebrate it with the anniversary this year at Celebration, I just kind of feel like maybe more time needs to pass. And it will be interesting if they're, at the 10-year anniversary, that we will get a Phasma book, or we might get more with these characters. Maybe the Rave movie will finally be released.
Maybe we'll get there. I believe. Well, that book is coming out, and like I said, we are excited for it. This is a great story to carry these characters forward as we go into a new era. Well, that is kind of it. That is it. The news story. But we caught up on Life Adventures, Tales of the Underworld. I almost said Tales of the Underwear. The Tales of the Star Wars Space Underwear. There we go. That's my pitch. Just stumbled into that one there. But George would say there's no underwear in space, as he told Carrie. So there you go. Jen, any final thoughts as we head on out of here today?
No, I'll share this thing that Ahmed Best said, which I think was really interesting. He talked about, the backlash to the Phantom Menace at the time. And he's like, every single one of you in this audience has an idea of what a Star Wars movie should be, or what your idea of Star Wars is. And it's going to be different. And he's like, a lot of people went into the movie saying, well, this is not my Star Wars. This is not what I envision. And that was really helpful to hear. I was like, oh yeah, what is my version of Star Wars? And it just helps me approach people who might have a different opinion than me. But it also reminded me that, people can change. Time can make you look back on things and go, actually, George Lucas was right. Jar Jar is the key to all of this. And I was totally wrong in 1999.
Hey, a lot of us were, and I'm happy to say that change is real if you allow it to be in Star Wars. And I would say I would love if Ahmed Best just toured the country giving hours-long speeches about Star Wars and life and everything. He's a wonderful speaker. So good stuff. All right, we're out of here today. You can find us on social media at ForceCenter Pod, especially Blue Sky. We are, as a podcast, available in a lot of spots: Acast, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a whole lot more. Just search, you'll find us. Merch available 2 spots, tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter, or Fourth Wall. Links down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, tell your friends, do all those good things to help us grow even more. Patreon.com/ForceCenter so we can support us directly and get into our Discord. You can follow me at CadNapsock or my website, cadnapsock.com. We'll have, looking for the T's to be crossed and I's to be dotted, but be having a headlining show here in late May. Mark Ellis and I co-headlining Flappers Comedy Club. Some more information to come if you're local. So that's it for me. But Jen, where can they find you and your making of great dresses?
Yes, you can find all my Queen Amidala stuff, Jar Jar hat, on my Instagram at Jennifer Landa, or TikTok at Jennifer Landa 1138.
There it is. All right, we'll see you next time here on ForceCenter.